Hey everyone, in this tutorial we are going to talk about materials, namely depth, gradient and noise. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I will link the playlist in the description and also on the card shown at the top right corner of the video. So let us get started. We will be using the teapot for this tutorial. So let me just get it and just enlarge it. So the first material we are going to talk about is depth. So as you can see, if I click the plus icon and select the depth in the material section, we have the change in appearance of the teapot. So it's all white for now. As you can see, there are some parameters in the depth material. So we have origin to be as vector or camera, or the position to be at local or world, and the vector as x, y and z. And we have two color parameters and two parameters as near and far. These colors can be used to see what the gradient will look like, and near and the far parameters help you in smoother variation. As you can see, if I change the x value, we get this depth. We can see that here there is more black than here, so it's shifting from right to left. So if I change the near and far parameters, you can see that the darkness and the lightness is changing. Let me change the background. So as you can see, the shifting of lightness and darkness is happening. What this near and far value defines is the smoothing between the lightness and the darkness, or else these two colors. So if I change this color to red, you can see that the black is changed to red, and if I change this color to something like green, you can see that the green and the red value is merging here in between and giving us this yellowish and orange color here. What this near and far value does is make those two colors merge in a more smoothing way. So the difference between these parameters are less. We get a more rough edges. Let us see, the near and far values have two different values, 60 and 70. So the distance between is only 10 numbers. The combination of the colors can be seen rather rough. So if I change this to 60, you can see that it's a single line. There is no smudging between these colors, and it is just a green and a red combined. So if I increase these values, it will merge those colors in a smooth value. So if I change this to 120, you can see that I have to change the value of x to see it more closely. That is how the depth works, and you can change this to multiply, green or else overlay. So this is how this works. Now coming to the gradient, we can see that after selecting the gradient in the material section, we get a appearance like this. In the gradient we have different parameters. So we have three different types in here, whether the gradient to be linear or else radial or else polar. So to make it more visible, I will use the plane here. So this is our plane. I will just copy the material and paste it here. So we have three types in the gradient, namely linear, radial and polar. So the linear applies the gradient in a linear fashion. So we have a linear blending or a smooth blending. And in the ramp parameter, we have color selection, where we can change the colors of the gradient. If I select this UI and change the color from here, we can see that the value red is applying, and if I select this value and change the color, you can see that this color is also changing. I can also add a new color in between by just clicking on the ramp. So you can see that we have new color. So if I change this color to somewhat like blue, you can see that this is the gradient of these three colors. You can also change the opacity of this value, and this angle can be used to change the angle of the gradient applying to the object. So if I change the angle to somewhat like 90 degrees, you can see that it has shifted from in a clockwise direction. If I change this to 30 degrees, you can see that it's applying in an angular form. After that, we have offset parameter, which can be used to change the position of the gradient in x and y directions. And in the radial type, we have same setting. So if I change this to polar, you can see that the polar is like it's making the gradient from this left to right direction. So if I change the angle to like 90 degrees, you can see that the angle has shifted here. Now coming to the noise material, you can see that we have some shapes. So in the noise material, we have more parameters than others. So you can see that we have a type, size, scale, movement and 4 colors, and there is a distortion, factor B and factor A. Noise can be explained as a distortion in something. So you know that we have a noise in the audio, noise in the camera. So we have different types of noise in here. We have a simplex, fractal, Ashima, FBM and Perlin noise. So first of all, you have size. So this can be changed in the X, Y and Z direction. So if I change the value to 10, you can see that the noise value has contracted in the X direction. So in the scale, the higher the value it is, the noise will be that much enlarged and you can't see much of it. So you can see I increase the value to 10 and you can see only a gray and white combination of substance. So if I decrease it to something like 0.1, you can see the size is small. And if I change the movement, you can see that the position of the noise is changing. And these are the color parameters in the noise. So you can pretty much add a gradient like in here with different color values. And we have some distortions in here. So the distortion is increasing in the X and in the Y directions. If I zoom in it a little bit, you can see that this is the distortion. And we have a factor A and factor V. I think the factor A and factor V can be used to change how the distortion works. So for the type, if I change to simplex fractal, you can see that the noise is more, there is more details in this. You can see that this is the different type of noise we can get here in the simplex fractal. And we have a Ashima noise. And then we have a FBM noise. So as you can see, if I reduce the size, you can see that this is how the FBM works. Then we have a Perlin noise. You can see that this is how the Perlin noise affects the object. So you can change the value to multiply and screen and overlay. So this is how these materials works, and the rest of the materials will be upcoming in the next videos. That's it for today guys. Hope you have enjoyed and understood the tutorial. Do like, share and subscribe to the video and also to the channel if you have gained some knowledge. And also comment down below if you have any queries, thoughts and requests. I will be glad to help you out. Hit the bell icon to get any notifications of the future videos, and also join the Spline Discord for updates and open community to have a gossip feed. See you next time. Bye.